The heaven, even the heavens are the Lord's, but the earth hath he given to the children of men. Lord, we invite you into our space. We make room for you. Come now in your mighty glory and to have your way.
We make room for you. We make room for you. Have your way. We make room for you. We make room for you. Have your way.
Can we lift our voice together and just begin to love on the Father? We make room.
We make room for you.
Jesus.
We make room for you. Have your way.
Come on, this time I want you to sing it from your heart. Lord, we make room for you.
We make room for you. We make room for you. Have your way.
Father, we lift our hearts tonight. There's no God like our Jehovah. We make room for you.
We make room for you. Have your way.
Come on, let's sing it together. We make room.
We make room for you. We make room for you. Have your way.
Whenever Jesus comes, all of Satan's power is broken. Lord, when you come with miracles. You come with blessings. You come with favor. You come with healing in your move.
Yes, Lord.
So right now we anticipate, we greatly expect
Yes, God.
that when you show up, yokes will be destroyed, bodies will be healed,
Yes, Lord.
ways will be made,
Yes.
and needs will be met. We expect you. Have your way.
I'm expecting, anticipating a move of God, a move of God. I'm expecting, anticipating a move of God, a move of God. one time, y'all. Hey, change is coming. Ooh, change is coming. I'm expecting. Yeah, 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 yeah. He's gonna make it better. He's gonna make it better. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. Everybody lift your voice and say, change is coming.
Man, what's that going on there?
That's that Juno 106. Juno 106. Oh man, I forgot about that record. That's the homie, the bro, Jay Hen.
Yeah, for sure.
Jason Hendrickson, salute.
Yeah, man. Tell me a little bit about David Caton right now, man. Like, I mean, you know, we bros and we've been bros for a long time, man, and it even developed into some new stuff. But there's some stuff probably I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear the born and raised, when you started playing music and why. What were your inspirations?
Oh man. Try to put it long story short, as short as I can, compact it. Oh man, born and raised Brooklyn, New York. You know, Brooklyn, New York in the late 70s. You know, Brooklyn, New York, Bed-Stuy, and a place called Marcy Housing, Marcy Projects. Maybe some may be familiar. Big homie Jay-Z is from there.
Yeah.
A couple of other incredible people. But yeah, born and raised Marcy. And you know, music saved my life, bro. I could remember from Run DMC, or when breaking, and what was the other one? Crush Groove. Yeah, when hip hop just emerged, and you know, growing up, you know, in the late 70s, figuring that out in the transition, I just fell in love with music before even playing. And I'm, you know, Panamanian descent. Mother, father, grandmother, grandfather, everybody. It's just unfortunate. I don't speak Spanish, but everybody in my family speaks Spanish, and you know, so you have that melting pot of the Caribbean elements and the
So you don't speak it, but do you understand it? Some people don't speak it, but they understand it.
Un poquito. A
Oh,
little,
okay, see? see.
yeah, a little bit, you know. So growing up in urban Brooklyn, and you know, being of Spanish descent, Caribbean descent, that's kind of the foundation right there.
Okay. And then you got into, was it music via being impressed by somebody like on keys, like a Melvin Crispell or even Butch, or was it Jeffrey White you saw one day? Or
The guy that I seen that when I seen him play, I was like, yo, this is what I want to do, is Horatio Dawkins. Horatio Dawkins. His brother was Harry Dawkins. He used to be around Love Fellowship. I don't know if it was in a managerial capacity or something like that, but Harry Dawkins used to be around. Horatio, he's Panamanian as well. My godfather, who introduced me to music, he and Horatio were best friends. He had this thing, you know, and when I heard him play, especially that electric piano, and again, just watching him, Horatio's a big dude, tall, 6'5" or whatever, these big, you know, but incredible on keys. And bro, I was just like, yo, nah, this is what I want to do. He had all different pedals. This dude had a pedal board for a Yamaha DX7, distortion, reverbs, choruses, all kinds of stuff, making that instrument do that. Because if you remember, the DX7 doesn't have any effects. It doesn't have nothing. It's just a straight up, you know, analog board.
Yeah.
And
that everybody had.
Yeah. I got introduced to the gospel scene in the 90s. And I started playing for different groups in Brooklyn. Jeffrey Young and Abide in Love.
Wow.
And then Danny Eason.
Yes.
And so when we did that and connected, that was an incredible movement of young people. So many artists have been inspired and so many great things have come from the collective of people who was involved in that era. But then I was introduced to that, Timothy Wright, and man, I miss that dude. He's a legend. He's incredible part in my career as well.
Okay, somebody said, tell how I took you from Roosevelt to Rodeo Drive.
That's nobody but this Jason Hendrickson. I have to get a restraining order or something on this guy.
We got blocked.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do something, man, because this guy. But he's hilarious. He's talking about, and the story. He's been saying this mess for so long. I'm starting to believe it. But, his story is that he seen me. It's because once we moved from Marcy, we went to Roosevelt Projects. Lord help us. And because it was bigger, than the 3-bedroom, it was the 4-bedroom with 2 bathrooms. And there was something going on. There was a tour going on, and I think Nate McNair couldn't do it or what have you. And it was a privilege to be called on to go on that tour. Jason has told the story and distorted the story so much. But it wasn't him calling me out no window like, hey, buddy, come with me. Let's go to Rodeo. So he says from Roosevelt to Rodeo.
Okay, well, let's tell his story. Let's be fair. You can't just tell your version. Tell his story. Well,
that's his story is he was driving by one day and he saw me peeking out the window. And he said, hey, you, buddy, come downstairs. You want to go to L.A.? And he took me on the plane. Mind you, this is Bishop Hezekiah Walker's gig. But, that's his story.
Okay, and he's sticking to it.
Yeah, and so we were able to do that tour. I forget what year it was, but it was pretty dope.
Yeah.
And we've been rocking ever since.
Oh, man, Dave, you look good, man.
Yeah, likewise, brother.
You've been taking care of yourself, baby.
You got to maintain, and likewise,
That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
So how many records did y'all do together, John? Like, wow. I didn't even
know. He recently sent me something that his son was doing, a Christmas.
Oh, yo, Reg.
A Christmas project.
Yeah, I flipped a Hang On the Mistletoe. I'm going to get it this Christmas plane.
That's what's up. Reg, you look good too, man. I love what you're doing with this show, man. I had to tune in, man. I've been tuning in for several weeks now.
Yes, you have, man, and I appreciate that. I've been seeing you commenting and all of that.
Great. Yo, we getting ready to release that project we did. You remember up there in Connecticut?
Get out of here. Wait, when was that? When did
it was me, you, Randall Jenkins.
Yeah.
And Jonathan and myself, man. And they still got the masters on that, so.
Wow.
Yeah, man. You killed it.
I know. I need to do a whole lot of overdubs, I'm sure.
Nah, man, please.
I'm going to hop on my motorcycle, ride down south a little bit on the turnpike, meet up with Caton.
Yo, man, well, Dave, good seeing you, man. I love you, man. I love both of you, my brothers, man. Y'all stay strong.
Thank you, John, for coming on, man.
All right, man.
All right, brother. So you transitioned into doing these records. What was that like? Like, I mean, before you did your first record, did you do it at the studio or your own that you had to put together, or did you go to a studio? Because back in the day, it was our dream to be sitting in one of the big studios.
The transition came into production gradually. It was gradual. It was just from being, a keyboard player. Doing sessions, doing a lot of session work, to wanting to understand that side of the job, but loving the whole body of work so much that I was like, yo, I didn't say to myself, well, I can produce, or I want to be a producer. It was a gradual thing, but I knew I had the wherewithal to do it and try to do it at high levels because the passion was definitely there for it.
Now, what did that mean at a high level for you? Did you immediately start maybe investing in certain pieces? Like, I'm sure your studio went through transitions. Did you start off with, I don't know, what was it back then, man? The 88s?
Right. So look, so let's go back a little bit. You see some of the guys doing this, some of the guys that are a couple of years older than me, that may have little studios. So now we're doing ADATs, like you said, ADATs and D88s. At those moments, that stuff was unattainable. In your mind, you're like, yo, I can't get this gear. I can't afford this. You got to remember, you talking 90s, in the 90s, where people's rent was $400, $300.
Right.
You're talking about gear, D88, which is only 8 tracks and it's on a tape, and that costs $3,000.
Right.
This stuff is just like, nah, it's unattainable. And I had a Elisa something that I started with, and I hooked that up to my JV80. And I was always a Babyface fan. So I'm doing like trying to recreate the songs track for track and doing that, but I didn't have nothing to record it to. A tape deck. You record that to a tape deck. There's no laptops. There's beepers. There's hardly no cell phones. You know, this is, you know.
Yeah.
And so we got to fast forward a little bit. When I jumped into my first studio situation, it's the Roland VS80s. Remember, it was at the VS80s and the 2480s. Those were 8-track digital recorders. I didn't jump right into computers.
It wasn't the 1680s, right? Not the.
They had the 1680s, but before the 1680, the first one was the 880.
See, I didn't even have the 880. Wow.
I still got it. I got it around here somewhere. I'm trying to tell you.
Of course you do.
I got it. So it was like, yo, you get this, you can do this. Pharrell and them boys are using it. They made so many records on it. And it was like, what? So now you like, you know, guys are using this in the industry. So that was a little more attainable. And I had did a pub deal for songwriting. And I took that whole check and ran right to Guitar Center.
Whoa, let's back up. How old was you when you got that? Wow.
That was, I think I was like 22, 23.
You had a publishing deal at 22?
Yeah. Yeah, 22, 23. And, but I knew that I needed to invest in the gear, and that it was important, and that was the thing to do going forward. Ownership. To do, is that Pastor J? I see you, Reverend. Salute.
You see him?
So, yeah.
What's up, y'all?
What's good, my guy?
Ain't nothing, man.
All
You
things
on here?
out.
You on here telling the truth or telling a lie, son?
I'm on here telling the truth. That you suffer from PTSD.
This is dope, Young. I didn't know you was doing this, man. This is great.
Yeah, man, I've been doing these each Friday. This is like my 10th episode.
Okay.
You've been on here a lot. You was on the first 2?
Oh, that's what that was. I thought it was just like a regular Zoom meeting or something.
Yeah, no.
I'm at Bishop Jameson's birthday party. I catered part of his event for him today.
Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
with my dessert line. Yeah.
Okay. Yo, that song, man, I don't think I've ever told you before, but that Make Room. Woo.
Oh yeah, man. That's this guy. This guy, Dave Caton. I know we always joke around a lot, but seriously, David is probably one of the greatest producers that I ever worked with. And, you know, he always pulls out the best in me as a singer or trying to be a singer.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I trust him. And that's important, you know, when you have a producer, you got to trust him. And, you know, he knows my sound and he knows what to do. And, man, he just took that record. When he sent me the file back with the strings, man.
Yo.
Whew,
And y'all know I love orchestration.
Man, I thought I was in Disney World, man.
Yeah.
I said, what?
Yeah.
So that was great. I don't do anything without running it by this guy. when I'm finished my stuff, I like, yo, put your A on it. And he'll tell me, yo, fix this, do that, do that. You know, he think he my father in the spirit, but you know. But that's my go-to guy. That's my go-to guy.
Man, salute, Rev. How much I owe you for saying all of these things?
Yeah, because you know, I didn't want you to know, Reg. He texted me and gave me a script on what I was supposed to say. And the title of the text was Just in Case.
Yo.
You know? Nah, but it's the truth. It's from my heart.
Put it in the chat. Put it in the chat. Too.
Yeah, I don't know why he won't just give me my credit, Doc. I'm really getting sick and tired of this. This guy was sitting in the window looking like a thug. Because that's then.
See, that
David
sounds
Caton
right.
he had braids, Doc. He had braids in his hair.
Mm-hmm.
And I looked up and said, hey, come on down here.
See?
You know,
He was sitting in the window. He looked lost, perplexed, depressed, possessed, and oppressed.
My God.
and the Holy Spirit said unto me, the Spirit of grace said, Hendrickson, that's a young man that needs some help.
See, the enemy's still fighting it. You see him, right?
God's little helper.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, man.
Give it up for God's little helper, everybody.
Ooh, I felt something in that. I feel the glory.
And did all of that. And now look, Dave, you writing songs.
Now look at him.
Producing.
And he hasn't sent me a Holy Ghost handshake yet, Reggie Young. Maybe you can talk to him.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's very unintegral of him. I don't understand it.
Well, the most interesting part about this whole dialogue is that Reggie has it documented that you said something to the fact of, I encouraged you to write, and if I didn't, that
part got muted. That part got muted.
And so forth and so on. So, yeah. We might need to discuss some reparations.
Yeah, I still need a little taste, though. I need a little Holy Ghost handshake in my hand. Oh, yeah.
Yes, we'll discuss that and see what my portion shall be.
It won't be much, but we thank God anyway. I don't want to keep y'all go ahead, because y'all was having a serious conversation, and when me and Caton hook up, it always takes a left turn.
But see, that's part of what I needed on this show, because I want people to understand the genuineness and the love and the folly and the relationship that exists here, especially with our brothers. You know, I'm not from Brooklyn, but it was such a pleasure when I came into Brooklyn and met you guys and started working with you guys. And now, and then I got basically adopted by Brooklyn, because what happened was everywhere I go, everybody thinks I'm from Brooklyn. The two Reggies from Brooklyn.
Right. Well, I used to tell them, no, there's Reggie, then there's Reggie that played with the dog chains on and the big boots. That's Reggie Young. Yeah. With the blonde hair.
Yeah, remember that?
Yeah, I had blonde hair too. People don't remember.
That's right.
When we did the Danny Easton record, I had blonde hair.
Yeah, prayed you out of that.
and that was because I was trying to look like Reggie Young. Lord help.
Legendary, man.
Yeah, man, Reg.
Oh wait, I had a ponytail too.
Yeah, I remember.
A shag.
That's when you was at the Baptist church. And you came over to Holiness, you cut all that mess off. And I said, now, Young, if you're going to be on camera with me, you got to cut all that off. I'm oneness. David used to wear, these jackets from the store called Live Collection.
No, sir.
And the suit jackets had belts on it.
No, sir.
With shoulder pads.
Sir, I do disrespect you. I do disrespect everything that you're saying right now. So,
I laid hands on him, Young. I said, "You coming out of this?"
Inaccurate.
I can't.
Oh,
Lord Jesus. Yo, let me get out of here, man. I want y'all to go back to y'all was having a serious conversation.
Yeah. No,
Y'all,
we jumped in. This was good, man. Thank you.
Love
yo, I love y'all, man. All right, y'all
All
be
right.
good.
All right,
Peace.
brother.
Yeah, that's my guy, Jay.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. So much history, so many memories, man. I know y'all known each other a little longer. I came on the scene in the 90s, or
Yeah.
I guess early 90s for me. You were doing the recordings with Danny Eason?
Yeah, absolutely. So we still wasn't called producers at that time. Again, like we said, you know, you're just playing and you're excited and you're having band rehearsals. Shout out to the band, all of the fellas, Jeff Les, Joanne Martin.
Yeah.
I believe it was Keith on the bass, Teddy FX. That's Nate McNair's, I believe,
That's right.
cousin.
That's right.
Teddy, and then a host of others that was around. Jules,
Yeah.
Melvin Crispell, Jules Bartholomew, you know, and all the others. I don't want to forget anybody. Rodney Kennedy
Yeah.
on percussions. There's been so many dudes that came through and held it down. And so we were kind of just doing those sessions and being there. And you just, you know, you're young and you're full of energy and life. And but I started taking it more seriously. Didn't know that it was called production or how to become a producer. But it was just like, yo, I had a thing for sound and putting it together and wanting to see the whole thing through. And I don't know if you remember the station, but you got to remember CD 101.9.
Oh, come on, man. Yes,
bro. That's what tuned my ears. That's what it was just like, yo, I want my music to sound like this, but including vocals. Those mixes were incredible. I don't even know if those stations exist anymore.
It sounds and looks like you have a thirst for keyboards and gear, because since we've been talking in your early, you went from you had the DX7? Did you ever get one of those?
Didn't have it. Had so we had the M1.
Yes.
Back in those days, it was coming in stages, bro. I'm a historian with this thing.
Come on, let's go.
You know? So the DX7 was first, then the D50 came second.
Yo, yeah, rolling D50.
Those two keyboards alone are responsible for so many hits.
Yep.
It's just outrageous. So then Korg, right after the D50, came with the M1, which had the most realistic pianos and at the time. And so my church bought the first one was a Juno Alpha Juno 2. That's what I learned on. Okay. And it was 6-note polyphony. So you had to play maybe 3 notes with this hand and 3 notes and 2 more with that. That gives you 5. You might add something and that's 6. So that was it. So I learned that, and I learned how to tweak and program and do all of these things on that one particular keyboard. This was the days, again, like I said, when the keyboard costs $1,700 and your rent is only $300. This is how, you know, so you can, if you put that today where a person's rent is $2,000 a month and somebody's telling you to buy a keyboard for $6,000 or $8,000, that's what it was back in those days. So when the church purchased that stuff, I was on that stuff every day, bro, all day, 8 hours a day, learning and programming and tweaking that one particular instrument. Back in the days, as you remember, your guys, Nate McNair, David Bratton, different ones, Joe Wilson, everybody walked around with their keyboard. Stanley Brown, it was programmed. Some people would go to the OG Stephen Ford and let him program your D50 and put stuff in there. You remember the guys Kern and Valdez and all of those guys. They was programming that stuff. And now you have these sounds, but you walk with your keyboard like it was your axe, like it was your guitar.
Oh yeah, just sounds on a floppy.
Yeah, you had your sounds on it. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the thing. But it was all about tweaking and creating a sound design at the time. So I appreciate those moments because it forced, you know, creativity, ingenuity. How is my M1 going to sound different than this guy's M1? I got to dig in. And so all through that era, learning and
say a
growing,
little bit of this early production of yours on this Danny Eason, all on his name right there. I'm gonna tell you something, man. I want to say the New York sound, but it's really the Brooklyn sound, man. Like the Brooklyn sound, bro, is unmistakable. And this what's so crazy about it, right? It could be a completely different lineup of cats from session to session, and that bounce, that hop, it's there, bro. It's that you could hear the R&B influences though,
Yeah,
from
and
that
that's
era.
again 25 years ago, something like that.
Exactly.
That's it's that aggression. So there's a combination of things going on there. You got New Jack Swing.
Mm-hmm.
You got that 4 on the floor. So you got those elements in there, and that's really, what we call that Brooklyn bounce.
This incredible. I'm looking behind you, man. I might be able to see some of those pieces that are from back in. I see an MPC. Is that a 2000?
3000.
That's
man.
the 3000. Yeah, that's the 3000. Yeah, man, and that's a piece from back in the day.
Yeah.
That you kept with you. So you clearly did you program that song that we just heard?
Yeah. That was some programming that we was doing, and again, at that time we was just getting into trying to add those live elements with trying to add programmed elements with live music.
I remember that, man.
So you got some states where guys, grew up and had studios in their basement, and we was from the the concrete jungle.
Yep.
So it was a little different. So we was at a disadvantage in that way, because it was just like, a lot of us didn't have the accessibility to recording equipment and can do that type of stuff.
And well, you clearly been in the game for the love, because all that gear behind you, that don't come overnight.
Yeah, no. It was crazy, bro. I'm gonna tell you the truth. In this pandemic, I was rewiring the studio and doing some things, and I was just like, just amazed at the stuff that I've acquired over time.
Mm-hmm.
Things that you would dream about when you was a kid, Neve and this and,
mm-hmm.
and the other, and a bunch of stuff, and it's just like, oh shoot, I really have all this stuff, and I'm wiring the studio, all Mogami cables.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what that is.
Yeah, I know. I have some for my bass.
Yeah. So, we're doing those things, and but just transitioning from keys to loving the whole body of work, the production process, all aspects of it, administration, doing all of this. And that a lot of that came from being a MD, musical director. You start learning how to be responsible for all of that stuff, and you say, you know what, I want to do this. I want to be able to create music and so of course, being blessed to do it, being blessed with the tenacity to stick with it, was able to do a lot of great things after that, and still got Grammy nominations for producing a couple of things.
Does it get easier the more equipment you get? Some of these questions might sound silly to you, but I'm gonna ask them because
Absolutely.
Does it get easier with the more equipment you get? Do you recommend Pro Tools over Logic? Do you recommend, like, let's just assume most people listening have some form of a studio, and they're looking at this behind you right now, and they feel like, even John Smith. Now, John Smith been in the game longer than me and you both, right? And he's looking at your studio going, wow. You know what I'm saying? So does it need to get to that wow, or can people start somewhere else, or what are some additions? Like, talk to me about that.
Okay, well, with regards to, you asked a question, does it make it easier? I put it to you like this: quality, it makes things easier when you're doing it the right way the first time. If someone is tracking the bass and they send me a bass and it was recorded horribly, the performance is great because they could play, but the equipment that they're using is terrible. It makes it harder in the mix. It makes it harder because the ingredients that you're using to make this particular thing is bad. Once you start using better ingredients, your overall product comes out better. This is why we would go to the studio. It didn't matter how incredible you was. A lot of people wasn't allowed to just be recording stuff wherever. They would have to come in. You know, you as a bass player and a session musician, you've done thousands of sessions. So when you go to the studio, you're not aware of what you're going through, especially when you're younger. Now, of course, you know, but you just plug in and you go, and it sounds amazing. But that signal path is so important to the final product. It's so, yeah, it makes a difference when you're running your bass through a Neve preamp, and then from that Neve preamp into a LA2A compressor. So we're getting all of that harmonic distortion.
You're preaching now.
Yeah, which is pleasant to the ears. So you're going through the preamp, which is giving us some transformers and some warmth. Let's just say that. And then you go from that preamp to the compressor, which is going to keep your bass leveled. From popping up, it's going to keep it leveled, but it's going to be invisible compression. We shouldn't hear that it's happening. Everything should just be leveled and tamed. Then you're going through that into some EQ to make sure it's doing what it needs to do. And then from that to tape, all of those stages is going to have your bass sounding radio ready. That's why when we buy certain equipment or certain things, it says a studio quality EQ or studio quality reverbs, because that is the pinnacle. All of the elements that go into that, i.e. the wiring, we were talking about Mogami cables. You could put in $5 cables and plug it in and say, I'm okay. But why do I need Mogami cables? Because, yeah, that Mogami cable may cost $50 for the same 6 feet, but the benefits of it, the way that it's made, the copper shielding and the way that it reflects oxygen and all of these other kind of things is going to make that actual signal better, stronger. No interference, no noise, hums, buzzes, or clicks.
Now, somebody will ask this question: how it like? I understand it now because I hear it. But you walk into sometime a music store and you got good salesmen and you have bad salesmen. You got ones that are there for a check and ones that are as knowledgeable as you are. Some will say, man, it's no difference. Just buy the $20 cable, man. The bottom line is you just want to hear yourself, right? How you feel about that?
And that's a complete lie. Because, again, when you buy that cheap mic cable and it has a little bit of noise on it, a little hum, little noise, little frequency, no problem, and you stack those vocals 8 times, 12 times, you do 4 altos, 4 sopranos, 4 tenors, that noise increases. The dirt, the artifacts is horrible. Now, when you buy that Mogami cable and you record that vocal, 0 noise, 0 interference, just a straight, clean sound. And you stack it 12 times, it's clean. When you buy the cheaper one, you're introducing all of those particles and dirt and noise and pops and clicks. You're susceptible to all of those things. That's the difference between.
Right. Okay. So now let's transition into when your sound, that's the sound going in. Now let's talk about the sound coming out. Monitors.
Okay. Likewise, we're going to come out our monitors and we're going to wire them Mogami. You come in from your interface or your console or whatever, and you go in Mogami. Now, monitors, there's a couple of ways we can go about that, and we go about that for a couple of reasons. You have your big boys, your loud ones, you have your near field and your close field. But a lot of times, the music that we're creating now, if a person is just starting, also you can have, and you should have headphones. There's a lot of music and things being created on headphones, home
Mhm.
studios and such.
People mixing records on headphones.
Yeah, you can't. The ones that you have on are amazing. I have
Ah,
8 pair of these in my studio. 8.
yeah. Yes, 8. And they not cheap.
Yeah, and that's just that particular one. So I have headphones give you multiple options in terms of listening and reference points.
Mhm.
So you could do you're coming out of your interface, and okay, so rule of thumb, we want to do everything Mogami if we can. Mogami or anything that's equivalent to Mogami.
Mhm.
But I more so, suggest Mogami cables. Then monitoring, that all depends. And if we're talking about just developing
A good sound, and because what I noticed, and like everybody does, you got A, B's, C's, probably some D's. Like so I'm naming alphabet letters. Explain to people what we're talking about right now.
you see, so now when we're dealing with, again, like with me, it all depends. If you're in a space where you can't be that loud, which people are in apartments and certain things, you have to figure out what you're doing. And this is where I would suggest the multiple headphones. So
Mhm.
it gives you different options. If you have Beats by Dre, that's going to be really bassy. Then you can deal with the Audio Technica. There's a couple that I suggest I use. One second. So I have the Fostex T50s.
Mhm.
These are great for mixing. They're really flat. You'll see this a lot when we're dealing with orchestras and Nashville studios. And it's funny. I just saw the people in Nashville using it, and I was like, yo, I just need to get these.
Right.
But then I did the research on it and understood what they were. They're super flat. So it's not flattering. It's going to tell you the truth for different reasons. These are flat, but these sound great. That's the ones that you have on. Anything sounds amazing through these, but
Mhm.
these don't really tell the truth,
Right. There you go.
in your mix. And so you want to be able to have, and it's funny, bro, I've been helping a lot of people during this pandemic set up studios and just getting them going.
Mhm.
So I've suggested these headphones. So you need several points of reference, and then I also tell them to get the wired Apple headphones.
And why do you suggest? I'm so glad you said this. I'm so glad, man, you're doing it. Why do you suggest people reference in those kind of headphones? Say it,
Because
man.
it has to sound good on everything.
There you
It
go.
has to sound good on these because this is what people are listening on.
There you
Whether
go.
it be pods, it has to sound good on a regular cell phone in mono. It has to sound good on the television, in the car. So when you're referencing, I have to listen to the song all the way through on these. Then I have the ones with the, the quarter inch,
Yeah, 1/8 inch to quarter.
eight to quarter. So you have to get those on Amazon because everybody has the buds, or the one that comes with your phone now comes with the
Mhm.
Apple. But you
Mhm.
want to get these and use them as a point of reference as well. So you can hit everything clearly, perfectly on that. Kicks, vocals, background vocals, instrumentation, everything needs to be right on those. So now you have several points of reference inside the house, not even using speakers, because you may not have the ability to really make music that loud.
Mhm.
So just
Mhm.
go in the car and you listen, and everything should translate the right way.
Right.
All points of reference.
And truth be told, these days, not too many people are listening to music the way we used to with the Panasonic stereos and the Sony
Right.
living room stereo systems with the tower
Right.
speakers and,
Right.
and all that. It's
The
not.
whole Deca with the record player on the top, tape deck,
Yeah.
receiver. Nope.
Yeah. So now people are walking around with the Bluetooth, AirPods on and
And the Bluetooth boxes.
the Bluetooth.
You actually you have those for your bikes.
Yep, probably be a good idea for people to consider, even referencing your mix through one of those boxes.
All of them, bro. I have one right here. 1 second.
This guy has everything, y'all.
One of these little Bluetooth boxes. I hook it up to the console and I listen to the mix through that. Because it has to sound good on everything, every platform that everyone is listening to.
Even right. Mono. Now people will mix in mono.
Yep.
You know?
I do that as well. I will start the mix off and let's say 20% in the mix is stereo just to get going. The rest of it is mono. And then at the very end, I switch back to stereo.
Wow.
Because you gotta be able to hear, of course, with effects and panning and different things that's happening, you need to hear what it's doing there. But you want to hear that stuff in mono. You want to make sure your kicks are there, snares. When you do something that's already mono, so you have stereo, but when you mix it in mono, the kick now is double. It's louder. The vocal is louder because it brings everything that's mono forward. Stereo, it will only be, one side of the thing mono. So you want to make sure all of those elements are there inside your mixing. And then once you switch it back to stereo, it should sound good across all platforms.
John Smith says something that's real funny and true, and I remember he just brought back some memories, bro. Remember sitting in studios and they do a mix and they burn it for you real quick on CD, and then you run to your car to play it in the car to see how. And then you run back upstairs to the studio, you write down your adjustments,
yep,
and then you go back to the car because you wanted, yeah.
But if you think about it, when you're sitting in the car, you're not perfectly seated.
Exactly.
You're sitting in the driver's seat. The passenger seat is all the way on the other side. Then there's speakers in the back. There's all different types of things. So everything needs to be knocking in all those speakers. It's almost like mono mixing.
Right.
But that kick needs to be there. The vocals need to be there. Everything needs to be there.
But you know what, Dave? You said something that I never thought about, man. I've done that, right? I've ran to the car. You sit in the car and you turning it up and you closing your eyes. You are clearly not in the center of the room.
Not at all.
So now you make these adjustments on your mix and you're like, I need to hear more such and such, that tambourine, because the tambourine, you got it pan to the right.
It's pan to the right, and that's 5 feet away from you, bro.
Exactly.
On the bottom of the speaker, of the door.
Yeah.
And you talk about you can't hear the tambourine, so now you go and turn it up so you can hear it more on that side, but you're never sitting in the center in the car.
And then you get home and then you're listening to it again. You're like, nah, you send in the engineer email. Tamarines too loud.
So, that mono mixing definitely helps let you know what's going to happen throughout the spectrum.
Right. So what are some records that you mixed that you were real pleased with the final outcome?
Oh man, I mixed a record on Coco called Wait on the Lord. That was actually, if I'm not mistaken, Coco, the legendary Coco from SWV, man. It was really dope working with her. It's like a highlight. She's a legend. She's, amazing. And I was able to do like 4 songs, I think 3 or 4 on her Christmas project, but on her gospel, I think it was a sophomore project, I caught the single. It's called Wait on the Lord. And I think I did another 2 songs on the album as well. I don't remember, but I know that was a single, and that was the first joint that I mixed myself.
Was that called Wait?
Wait, yes, Wait, featuring J.J. Hairston and Youthful Praise. We used the choir on that joint.
Let's see.
J.J. is my bro.
was a blessing in waiting on Jesus, but so often times we go our own way, but we must learn that God knows what's best, and in His own time He's gonna bless. So wait, you've got to wait on the Lord. There is a blessing, yes it is, in waiting on my Jesus, but so often times we go our own way, but we must learn that God knows what's best, and in His own time He's gonna bless. So wait, you've got to wait on the Lord for whatever you need. He will supply. Just ask in His name. He won't deny. All you have to do is wait on Him. Just wait on Him. Wait on Him. Be of good courage. Be of good courage. And wait on the Lord. Oh, whatever you need, yeah, He will supply. Just ask in His name. He won't deny. So why don't you wait on Him? You got to wait on Him. Wait on Him. Be of good courage. Be of good courage. And wait. Just wait on the Lord. Don't get tired. Wait on the Lord. Don't get weary. Wait on the Lord. Don't be discouraged. Wait on the Lord. Be encouraged. Wait on the Lord. Don't get tired. Wait on the Lord. Don't get weary. Wait on the Lord. Don't be discouraged. Wait on the Lord.
There's a few things I want to ask you, man. One of them, besides the mix, is even the production, and we touched on this earlier. Your
Let's do it
strings,
again.
bro.
Let's do it again.
Your Nashville string machine, bro. We got to talk about that a little bit.
Okay.
What were you using on that record? You don't got to tell me a secret now, because it might be different. But what was your secret then, back in?
Let's talk about it. Well, we come from the days where now, I'm a little older, and I always believe in inclusion and collaboration, right? But back in the days, you had to come up being able to do all this stuff on your own, on your MPC. You was in the room and you did what you need to do, and you come out with your DAT. If you could afford a DAT machine, this is what I did. Everything: drums, keyboard, strings, horns, bass, key bass, everything. So now a little bit about that particular record. On drums is my bro Gary Mays from Texas. Super dope G Mays. Salute to him. And everything else is me.
See?
Organ, keys, bass, did everything else. That's the we came up in that. But your initial statement is there. Tell me about your Nashville string machine, whatever. That's actually the Nashville string machine on that record. We had a little budget, Reverend.
Now you see? You see? My ears? You see?
Yeah, you got the ear. So that's actually...
But let me say this, Dave. Let me say this. I did not, in all honesty, know it was Nashville String Machine, but it's the movements and them sweeps reminded me.
Lloyd Barry wrote that stuff, bro.
Oh, Lloyd Barry. But I'm going to say this. Some of the other orchestration that I heard you do, like on Make Room, is very similar.
Yeah.
So kudos to you, my brother.
Yeah, thank you, family.
Yeah.
So we have so now with Lloyd, it's like, you do the record, you're excited. This is Coco, and she wants to do this gospel thing, and you're able to do just straight up, that's a churchy 3/4 gospel joint. And so now you do everything that you're gonna do, keys, bass, organ, everything, some synth work and all of that stuff. You write everything. And it's just like, okay. The label's like, Lloyd is gonna do strings. So it's like, okay, do I talk to him? Do I let him know what the arrangement is? How's it? No, sir.
So you didn't even reach out to him, like the label told you Lloyd is gonna be.
Yeah, you don't do. And a salute to the homie James Robinson.
Yeah,
he's like, nah, I got you. Lloyd got it. So it's like, oh, okay. You ain't got to tell Lloyd nothing.
Let me go back and tweak some things, right?
Yeah, it was just like, okay. And bro, when he sent me back that file, just one tear rolled down my eye. I was like, Mama, I made it. Got the Nashville String Machine. He used a 21-piece orchestra with brass and everything else. So he sent me the brass file separately, the strings file separately.
Ooh, stems, yeah.
Bro, I have all of that stuff. And just the sweeps and the different things. You could take that, sample it, chop it up to, it's crazy. And so we actually did, I think I want to say Lloyd did, bro, I don't know, 3 or 4 songs on it. It's crazy.
All night. But so, if you had to name a few pieces, must-haves for your studio, we're dealing with not somebody that's just saying, oh, you know what, let me go put a studio in my house today. What would they need to step up their game to achieve the beginnings of this crazy world? They might not want to get into it. Maybe you should warn them that first. But yeah, go ahead.
But yeah, a basic setup is what we call, your front end. So that's your mic, your preamp, compressor, and then tape. Tape now being your interface, which is going into your DAW, digital audio workstation. So your interface. These are all the things that are front end. So you have your microphone that needs to go into a preamp to amplify the signal, but you want it to amplify the signal and be very musical and very pleasing to the ear. Your compressor is going to keep that signal from going crazy and peaking and doing all of these things. We can get in the debate of analog versus digital, but that could be another time. But I'm just saying, for the sake of time, you have a lot of great interfaces now, like the UAD, the Apollo, and those other ones, the Quad and all that. UAD is wonderful because they're doing something that's called unison technology, whereby you can plug your microphone into the interface. And they have emulations of preamps and compressors that sound really, really good, really close to the real thing, and you can get great sounds. But my recommendation would always be analog, because there's something about running through that circuitry, doing what it is. It's waves versus digital being numbers. Like, it's a living, breathing thing. So I would do a mic. So let's do a quick setup, because I've done this setup for a couple of people. The Shure, and we're not endorsed by these people,
right?
We're telling the gospel truth,
right?
The Shure SM7B. Shure SM Sam Mary 7B. You've seen this mic everywhere. It's in every people are using them a lot in the radio stations. You see them.
Right.
That's the Shure SM7B. It's a great dynamic mic. It can handle all of your stuff. It sounds great. It can handle podcasts, singing, instruments. It can accept high SPL, sound pressure levels. So you can do everything from drums to horns to just voice. It's an incredible mic, and the price point is really good. It's about $400.
That's a great multi-dynamic mic.
Multi-dynamic mic, and it was used on Thriller.
Okay. Well,
so not right there. That's it. That's the finishing. That's it. Michael Jackson used that on a lot of songs on Thriller. A regular $400 mic.
Wow.
But what it does is incredible. But now, again, he's running that. Quincy Jones is running that through all different kind of preamps and compression and different things like that. But that particular microphone is incredible. If you're trying to start a quick home studio setup, I would do that. You can go into a 1073, different variations. That's the preamp. So you got your microphone, then you're going into your preamp, different variations. You may want to do a warm audio 1073, and then from your preamp to your compressor. The preamp has transformers, input transformers and output transformers, and all of those things gives the sound that warmth. Transformers, warm. You guys got to look this stuff up. You'll be able to figure it all out.
Yeah.
I'm giving the express. So now you're going through your preamp. I like 1073. It's a utility preamp that's great on every instrument: guitar, vocal, bass, anything you want to put through it. It sounds incredible. And then from there through your compressor. Now the compressor, you have the LA two-way compressor. If you bought one from Universal Audio, that's about $3,700. They have clones now of the same. Warm Audio makes a great one, but Clark Technique makes a great one. A Clark is spelled with a K. It's going to give you it's called the Clark 2A or Clark K2A or 2AK, K2A, whatever. It's their version of a LA2A. It does that type of compression. It sounds amazing, and you're not going to hear a $3,000 or $4,000 difference. You're not. Of course, the guy that has a real LA2A, he's gonna argue you down about it because he spent $3,000, $4,000 on it, and you spent $400 on yours. Of course, he's gonna argue with you about it.
Yeah,
Cool.
because he
But
mad.
if we play our records, we're not gonna hear the difference. So,
No. Mm-mm.
and if you put that same guy in a blind shootout, song A or song B, which vocal has the real LA2A versus the Clark?
It's
He's
gonna be 50-50 every time. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we did the microphone, preamp, Clark Technique compressor. Then you going into your interface. Conversion is very important. I would suggest any of the Apollo or Apogee.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Because the conversion quality. Now, if you talking, you have a little more coins, you can jump into some of the Antelope stuff. Amazing conversion. Conversion is important because just like when we had our old phones, bro, the flip phones, you take a picture of your bike on your old flip phone and it has a 1 megapixel camera, right? That picture of your bike is going to be blurry. You're going to have all of these things going on, this and that, the resolution is
1 megapixel.
1 megapixel. You took the picture. The resolution is horrible. Boom. Now, versus flip side, now we got an iPhone 15 with 20 megapixel. It's your same bike. We take that picture. The resolution is so high because of the conversion, because it's taking that analog signal and turning that into digital. So when we spread that thing and blow it up, you can see the dust particles in that image.
Mm-hmm.
That's why conversion is important. Because you can have the dopest signal there. The content is there, right? I said your bike is there. I got the 1 megapixel phone. Somebody standing next to me got the 15 megapixel phone. We both take the picture at the same time. My image is different versus theirs.
Right.
Because the conversion quality is trash.
Yep.
So we want the best conversion to take your analog signal, which was your mic, with your voice, through that mic, through the preamp, through the compressor, into the digital conversion, which is going to convert that signal at the highest quality. And now that audio is inside whatever system you prefer to use, digital audio workstation.
So that's why it's important to have these similar setups.
Standard. Yeah, you have to be, again, so in that case, it's just like, yeah, like you say, oh, you tracked this stuff here, then you did it, and now you're sending your piece back. In that case, I might do what you call reamping.
Mm-hmm.
I might get the outputs of that new bass, send it through the Neve, send it through the compressor to try to recapture some of that harmonic distortion that is pleasant, some of the harmonics and the warmth and the fullness of it to what you just sent. Versus if indeed, because again, now you send, and this is why I'm very particular about sending things out. I'm asking guys, what do you have? What you tracking to? How you doing it? Because if not, then it's not industry standard. You playing it through Radio Shack wires. And this and that. No, I need to know. It's like, yo, bro, your situation is simple. You play guitar. Make sure your cables are Mogami. Make sure that signal is clean. I'm not asking for the world. You not having to buy 12 cables for drums. And in my keyboard inputs are 42 channels.
Wow.
Of keyboards. So, and that's not even the MPC coming out 8 outs. That's just the MP doing stereo. So if you're doing 40 something there, then another 8 from the MP, that's, so, and you took all Mogami, that's not play.
Right.
So the least that a person can do, especially if they're really serious about it, is just make the investments. You do them slowly but surely, even if you can do them in payment plans and different things like that. We want to make sure that the quality, what we're putting in the box, meaning in the computer, We're doing it at the highest levels, and with the stuff that's available now, you can do it and really create those classic sounds today at a reasonable price point.
Dope, Dave, man. I really appreciate this. And you get, there's a lot of love in these comments, man. There's a lot me and Dave did not touch on, especially
Tom flipped away from us, man.
Yeah, especially concerning the Harleys and the Indians.
Second Amendment. What's our joint? Music, motorcycles, and firearms. MMG, music, motorcycles, and guns. Motorcycle, music, and guns.
Yeah.
All day.
Yeah.
And that's what we needed at the, those moments. We needed, and Jeff was just, man, incredible.
Mm-hmm. And then Melvin Crispell.
Yeah, that's another one. My brother, salute to him. We worked together on a lot of stuff, and then also the Danny Easter stuff. Melvin worked on my Christmas project. He wrote some dope songs. He did some other stuff for me, and he was just a great guy, great influence. Even that song, that Call on His Name that I did with the Danny Eason on the end, we go from the two, and then we go to that third minor. That's Melvin Crispell all day. And then go back to the major. I'm glad your love has never changed, and wonderful, and wonderful. To that third minor, it's crazy. That's Melvin all day, and salute to him and his influence on the Brooklyn scene and across the world. So that was definitely homie, man. And his wife, Tanisha Crispell. They're actually on my project. I have a gospel project that's coming out soon. Melvin played organ on the whole session. Tanisha Crispell, his wife, sung on the joint. Crazy.
When's that coming out?
Coming soon. Soon. Finishing it up. Just wanted to be right. There's so many different things going on and what's going on, the pandemic, this and that. So you just want to drop it at the right time, and you want to make sure that people are able to receive it and enjoy it, and so. But yeah, man, it's a bunch of Brooklyn legends on there. Natalie Wilson is on there as well.
Wow.
Yeah, super dope stuff. So salute to them.
Salute to you, brother. Thank you.
Man.
I appreciate this, man. Thank you.
Time is flying, but
time is flying. Look at that blessing behind you, man. The home studio. Look at that. That don't even look like a home studio. People like, that ain't his home. Nah, that's the crib.
We do what we need to do so that we're at that level. We want to be able to produce that Nashville sound, quality, everything. And everything is Dave Caton, DAVECATON @gmail.com. Hit me up. Whatever you guys need, let's talk. Consultation, mixing, production, writing, whatever it is. Let's just communicate. Let's connect and make some music.
There it is, y'all. Y'all heard it. Dave Caton. Follow him. I do. If you could keep up with him, because he be on the motorcycle zooming. Love you, brother.
Love you too, man.
Peace, man.